All right, welcome to We Are Something Else, episode 176. Last night, a DJ saved my life, and we're here. Oh my, fellas, what's good? What's good? What's good? Look, episode 176. Last night, the DJ saved my life, and we are joined with Kendall B of the Kendall B show on AMP. Brother, we appreciate you for being here. Round of applause for you. Look, you could be anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world tonight, and you're gonna be right here with us for a little bit of time. So we appreciate you for that, man.
Hey, it's all good. I'm almost off the clock for the week, so I'm happy. So wherever I can be to have a good time, I'm all good with it. Good to see y'all.
Absolutely. Okay. So, fellas, welcome. It's another Thursday night here on the East Coast if you me and CB, early evening on the West Coast if you E-Rich or Kindle B. That kind of rhymed, didn't it? Look, bars.
Bars.
Bars. No, so look, another week. Here we are, fellas. E, what's good with you, bro?
Man, listen, we've had a couple of conversations on how work has been recently. I don't know. Summertime used to be kind of quiet at the job. Now it seems like there's a lot more going on. So all I got to say is, damn these summer associates, making my life that much harder at the firm. So
Philly the BK is here. Philly, what's good?
Philly.
Exactly, bars. CB, bro, what's good with you, man?
Yo, man. Happy that we're almost at the weekend. Spending a bunch of time hanging out with my niece, who's down the street for the week, while my brother-in-law and sister celebrate their 5th wedding anniversary. So shout out to them. And yeah, having my niece nearby, as you guys know, makes life a little bit easier with how work's been going. E-Rich and Kaleo, you both know I talked to you guys enough about it. So yeah, happy we're here. Gonna be fun.
Absolutely. Kendall, our guest. How's the week going, brother? How's everything with you?
Week's flying by. I know we're going to talk about it a little bit, but still living off that high from going to Paisley Park last week. That was a blast. It's still almost it's tough to describe everything that took place there, but just living a good LA life here in Southern California. Finally got hot. Now it's blazing up this house. We don't have no air conditioning, so if you hear the woo in the background, that's one fan above and one fan over here on this side.
Cool.
But trying to stay cool. But otherwise, life is good.
Okay. Look, Jen Glenn, we appreciate it. Look, I appreciate everybody. The week here, on my end, supposed to be busy at work, but people want to take off, and you can't get things done when people take off. So today was actually a good show prep day. So I'm ready. That's all I got to say. We're going to dive right into this because we got some interesting questions and interesting things that we want to discuss with Kendall. So with all that said, fellas, let's get all this going here. I'm running everything right now. So let's wrap. Oh, that one.
Uh-oh.
That one. I'm going to let that marinate for a quick second. That one. So, Carly Russell, right? Carly Russell. Now, at this point, everybody knows who she is for a bunch of different reasons. So let me just give you the rundown. She is the Alabama woman who went missing after she reported seeing a baby on the side of the road, a highway. Right? That was a story that kind of broke last week. For a couple of days, it ran missing.
Mm-hmm.
She called 911. All right. The whole world was tuned into this. Every time I turned the channel, it was on the radio. Somebody was talking about it on AMP. It was on the news. And I think Tina Knowles even jumped into it and kind of, put a alert out there like we need to find this young lady. So when the police arrived to the scene, they found her vehicle, all her personal belongings. I think they even found her wig, cell phone, and a purse. Okay. Well, a little bit under 49 hours later, after people were up in arms, saying we got to find this young lady before it's too late, she returned home to her parents' house. Yep. Okay. So authorities, when they went to talk to her, they had issues verifying this story that she was telling, right? And along the way, so us sometimes can be very judgmental of other people. Like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna wait and see how this one plays out before we give any 2 cents. But yeah, so they didn't. I think the conversation was short, but anyways, yesterday, this is where it broke. The presser. They revealed her cell phone search history. Ooh, didn't know you could do that, did you? Didn't know that was possible. All right, so that happened, and so the search meant her searches were the movie Taken, the age for a response for Amber Alert, like it was the oldest, one-way ticket to Nashville from Birmingham, and how to steal money out of register without being caught. Now that one I'm a little appalled by. You got to Google how to steal money out of a register. We know you're not playing with all your crayons are. Come on, you're not the brightest one in the box here. So that's where we are with this story. This story has more holes in it than Swiss cheese. So I want to let's start with our guest. Let's start with Kendall. Kendall, let's give us your take on this. Thoughts, opinion, punishment, maybe.
The first thought is the whole Florida Evans thing. Damn.
Hold on, Kendall. Kendall, wait a minute. I think Kendall just get right here.
Damn. Exactly. Damn.
You must watch this show, Kendall. You didn't know I had that triggered up. We have a damn moment of the week. Oh my God! Look at God work. Look at God. That is. Oh my. Okay, go ahead. Already into the show. Let's go.
That is the first thought, because the issue of
Roland was good, bro.
Missing people, especially missing people of color, it's such a big thing. And anytime we've seen it, that when it's been put out there on social media and everything, is like there's not enough attention put to missing people of color. So you're like, okay, that's number one. So let's try to get that resolved. Number two, you don't want it to be the girl who cried wolf type situation, and you also want it to be a situation now that we kind of know what's going on, at least from the police's standpoint. Is she okay? You're dealing with, is this a mental health thing, or is she just looking for attention? So there's a lot of arms to this issue. But the first thing that does come to your mind is like, damn it, girl, everybody, you had the entire country and parts of the world looking for you and rooting that you're going to get home safely. And if you made this up, this is not a good look for anybody. So I'm hoping that as time goes on, we do get more, her side of the story and the investigation comes out, because then there's the issue of, okay, are the police doing right? What are they doing? What information are they not telling us? It's so complicated, yet it's juicy at the same time. And there's so many little lily pads you're trying to jump around and not trying to give it a screw face.
Yeah.
I mean, it's delicate to really touch it, but I mean, if you're going to go straight in on it, you're like, come on, girl, come on. That's where you start, but then you start looking at all the other the tangled web that this is.
Yeah. All right. CB.
I mean,
there we go.
I mean, it's Kendall laid it all out, man. Like, you don't want this to be a situation where she fabricated like this entire story, right? Because in general, like you said, not enough attention is generally put on these kinds of stories. So I'll say on another note, the memes have been incredible. All of that have been great.
Did not take long for the memes to come out.
Putting her face on the Taken movie poster, her and Juicy having them on some stuff together, like that's the only positive that I'm taking out of this right now.
Yeah. E Rich, my bro.
I mean, everybody said what's to say about this. I think the biggest thing is, on the side of there are other Black females or just colored people that are missing. She's really kind of just making it worse for them when they're already behind the 8 ball when it comes to trying to be found or people putting the resources behind it to actually find them. So I think the funniest that I saw was it seemed like she had just reenacted Kevin Hart's whole comedy skit as far as him seeing the baby on the side of the road. The whole thing with the with the animals and stuff. It just, you almost have to laugh because we need to laugh about it because she is safe, but at the same time, it's you're not a celebrity girl. We was giving Juicy he had to go through the ringer. You know what I mean? I mean, his story was, we thought you couldn't get worse than that.
Remember, they went to interview him.
You know what I'm saying? A Subway sandwich at 2 a.m. in Chicago in the wintertime?
Remember, he still had the noose around his neck when the cops went to interview him 5 hours later.
It just, listen, man, we don't need to do anything that's going to set us back any more than what we already are, bro. That's all it is, I think.
Look, Jen, that might be one of the realities is this whole crying wolf thing. When, I mean, like I said, we already had issues with them looking for us or giving a damn about us. And one time that they start, this is one time they do give a damn about us. Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy. Yeah, it's not true. It's not real. So I was trying to find I was trying to find a prison the what she could be charged about. I know it's the false police report and all that, but I'm the maximum. They decided to press charges, which I'm assuming that they got the Secret Service involved.
I think probably they're going to have to. I mean, if they get to that point,
yeah,
I think that it would be wise for them to do something as far as competency, mental competency, to make sure that she is up for this, or maybe this whole situation was something brought on that she needs some assistance, she needs some help. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then get her the help she needs. Now, if they can prove that she just did this for attention, then it's Alabama too, they're going to throw the book. They're going to throw the book, the statue, the chair. They're going to throw everything at her.
Exactly. All right. So let's move on. That was wasn't want to spend too much time on that. This one right here, this one is interesting. This one. So I know how E. Rich feels about Pac and the whole Cali thing. But look, so 30 years, and we finally got. Well, we don't know what we got because the cops are hush hush on this. All we know is the cops were told to go check this house out about 20 miles from the Vegas Strip. We don't know why, who sent them there. We don't know what they even found. All we know is this was breaking news that something has happened within the murder investigation of Tupac Shakur 30 years later. That is, I mean, that's absolutely crazy. So let's do some backtracking. E, just tell me where you were when you remember when Pac passed away, how you felt, and then now just talk about how you feel right now, where there may be somewhat of a break in the case, but we don't know. They're very hush hush about what's really happening right now. So break it down that way for me.
Okay. I'm not going to give you any fake. Real politics is Pac did not get shot because of a East Coast West Coast beef. Pac got shot because of gang, him disrespecting somebody from the Crip gang. And we all know Suge Knight was a blood, and there was the death row records of both one side and the other side. This is not what the media knew to begin with. This wasn't until many years later where you had people that were able to go on certain platforms and talk about more in-depth things about this. This was not some just random, situation. This was something that had been brewing for a couple of weeks, a couple of months in regards to what happened with the chain snatching of the death row chain. And again, like I said, this is all about this was hood politics at its best. I mean, I'll just label it like this. That ain't we're gonna keep it there because whatever they're going to investigate is something that has already passed the years of statute of limitation, and that person that have talked about it. Notice I'm saying that person because unfortunately that's how this hood politics is these people and their family members are still, they still have to kind of watch their own when it comes to this because there's a lot of people that still feel this whole situation. So what they said they found a lot of stuff, a lot of memoirs, a lot of pictures, a lot of whatever, some of that stuff, could, help in some part of the case, but we all know who did it, why it was done. And like I said, I think on that side, we'll leave it on the strength of it was more gang related than it was anything East Coast versus West Coast.
Where were you at when you heard Pac had passed?
I think I was at my aunt's crib with my cousin, and it came on the news, like it popped up on the news, and we was like, "That's odd." And again out here, well, like I said, I mean, he first got shot in New York, so then when he got shot again, we were just kind of like, "Oh, like Pac out there acting up, he got shot again." It's about to be another dope album that's getting ready to come out because that's we thought he was just such bigger than life that he was just gonna pull through. Then when you started to hear more reports coming in, now remember, this is back in the day. This ain't no internet, hop on the IM. This is like you getting phone calls. This is really where who's tapped into what. And at that time, it was just a lot of back and forth of what was what and who didn't know.
Yep.
And relying on the news, which, again, they want to tell you what they want to tell you. But like I said, over the years of hearing interviews of actual people who were there, who were in that moment with him, so yeah, but I mean, listen, sad day, and don't get me started because how you be on that area in Vegas, I don't think there's never a time even at night that somebody's not on that.
Yep, 100%, absolutely, Philly. I was one of those ones that thought he would pull it through. Kendall, where were you when you found out about Pac, and then thoughts on this 30 years later?
I was actually on the air in Greensboro, and I got to give a shout out to my mom because, again, this is really pre-internet infancy of internet. And, you had cable news or whatnot, but you really didn't know. It was a Friday night, and we were doing thing we call Friday night football jams at my station in Greensboro, 102 Jams. We had two vans broadcasting live from two high school football games, huge down south, obviously, a lot of other places. My mother called me on the hotline. She had the hotline number for the studio, and she told me, "Yeah, I think Tupac died." And I'm like, "What?" She held the phone up to ABC Eyewitness News here in Los Angeles. She held the phone up to the broadcast, and I'm like, "Damn!" So I knew that was a good source, but I just double checked just to make sure. I went to the wire because we still had wire machines printing out and making sure that kind of stuff happened. And I had to break the news live on the air to thousands of people. And not only that, I had to break the news to my crews that were out at these football games. And you can imagine I'm mid-20s at that time, mid to late 20s. And then you're digging this football game with these teenagers that are, that was life for them, Tupac. And you have to tell them this too. So it was a sad night. No doubt when we found all that information out, it was it was nuts trying to manage that entire night. When it comes down to finding this information 30 years later, I'm kind of on the same line as E. It's like, at this point, do we really want to go through that trauma? I mean, all of us who are fans of the music, fans of the man, all this kind of stuff, do we, if there is, or if there are any potential charges or any potential breakthroughs, there are people that would love to have some closure on this. I think we all would. But at this point, it's like, do we want to get dragged through it? All the stuff that's going on today. Some people want the juiciness of the gossip and to put a bow on it. At this point, it's like, I mean, the man, they finally gave the man the star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Like, what else do we want? I mean, his legacy is entrenched, whether or not we find who killed him. And that's really, I mean, that really is the sad part, that it's taken this long to get to this point where there's something seemingly tangible that we can dive into. So I don't really, personally, I don't want to have to go through all of this again, bringing up all the old stuff and dealing with that. Sure, it'd be great to have to put a seal on it, but at this point, like, is it worth it?
Absolutely. CB, I'm very interested to know where you were. Why wasn't I pushing you over there? When you found out Pocket died, and then 30 years later, what does it mean? Cola was good, bro.
So I'm only a little bit younger than y'all. So I was not like an active listener to Tupac when I was like 7, 8 years old. But a lot of the older homies in the neighborhood, they were the ones that, told us younger kids the news. And to us, to hear about really a celebrity that passed away was something that when you're that young and you're starting to actually like understand what's going on in the world, it stood out a little bit. Because then I remember going to school and seeing people with the shirts on, like R.I.P. Tupac and all that stuff. And I was like, wow, like that means something, because, we're also out here on the East Coast. So I think that 30 years later, I mean, I can't lay it out any better than the LA guys. So I'm on board with how they're approaching it. And I think that there's probably more people that want to know just what happened because they got nothing better else. It's not like to serve any better purpose. You know what I mean? So if it's going to bring any kind of harm to the family in any way, then, you got to weigh those kinds of things.
Yep. Got you. So I was home, and I remember I was listening to the radio station right here. It was probably WPGC, and I think Flex, whoever it was on the radio at that point, broke. They stop all the music. I mean, it was a song on mid track. They stopped the track, and then when the DJ typically stops the track mid song and then comes on the mic, they got something to say. It happened. Same night Aaliyah passed away. It was partying on the radio. Stopped the track at the club. But anyways, they stopped the track, and they said that because Pocket, it was like 5 days later, right? 5 to 7 days later, everybody just thought he was gonna pull through because the first shooting, like, Pac got this. Like, I mean, he's still gonna be around, and we'll, again, dope album. Same thing Philly said, same thing most of y'all said. And then when they said he was gone, wow. And I listened to Pac, but I was still too young. I mean, I wasn't processing the whole thing, right? I knew the fight had happened outside the fight, like, all that. I knew the whole point, the East Coast, West Coast thing was huge. I mean, he had locked himself in with Death Row, and Dre was already gone at that point, right? And so it was kind of just him and Snoop ride or die with Death Row. And like Death Row had turned to a whole different thing at that point. And I just remember hearing he passed, like, damn. Like, so anyways, but yeah, 30 years later, again, I don't know, what is this going to do? What is it going to say? We got everything we need to know. Pac is gone.
Right.
We got a few posthumous albums. I don't know how the rumor mill spread where you were, but it was always Day Theory thing. The Machiavelli album is going to come, had just got released after that. It was this whole, Pocket, faked his death. It was all these things kids were saying. Again, no internet, so rumor mills just started. But yeah, 30 years later, it's interesting. Like, wow, 30 years later, what could have possibly broke for you to go 20 miles down the road to investigate something? But again, what is it going to do? I mean, he's gone. But yeah, and he finally got his flowers, got his star on the Walk of Fame. But yeah, I don't know what at this point what it's gonna solve. Just bring back people who are still hurting from that trauma. All right. So yeah, speed round. We're gonna do a couple speed rounds real quick, and then we're gonna get into the meat of this. So 60 seconds or less. 60 seconds or less. So we talk about Pac 30 years later, right? What if I told you The Dark Knight came out 15 years ago?
Wow.
15 years, July 18th, 2008. I'm talking about one of the me, part of my, well, I'll put this at top 3 at least Batman movies. Heath Ledger had, I mean, we know what Heath Ledger did in that role and he won an Oscar for it 15 years ago. So 60 seconds or less, tell me how you feel. Thoughts on the movie, did you see it? And how does this make you feel find out this movie was out 15 years later. CB.
Well, it's reminding me how old I'm getting because I was in college and I remember hanging out with my work homies to go to the midnight show. So that opening scene is incredible. That in its own was gonna stick with anyone that's seen the movie, but damn, 15 years, that really is that's making these grays come in a little bit stronger.
60 seconds or less. I wanted this.
I want to say the same thing. Like you said, 15 years. The first word is damn. You know what I mean? Like that's just like that's where we are with this. But again, I'm pro villain, so that was one of the best villains that we've seen in the movie in a very long time. So, which then followed up by Bane, which was definitely even another good villain. So yes, this is dope in the book of the Batman series.
That Christopher Nolan triplet that he dropped on us, ridiculous. Kendall.
An amazing piece of cinema. I remember seeing the premiere for that, and it was just like, damn. I remember at the end of the movie saying, damn, this thing is just was just awesome. But the issue for me, and anybody in Colorado will relate, and I'm pretty positive I got the timing right. This was also when sadly we had that theater shooting, the Aurora theater shooting. And what made it personal for me is that I had just seen the movie like the night before for a preview. And to wake up 36 hours later, to wake up to the news, like a friend of mine texted me, it's like, yo, you know what's happening, down the way? It's like, no. And I turned on the news. And so we couldn't really revel in the movie because we're dealing with the seriousness of real life with the whole thing. And that was such a sad situation to deal with in Colorado for many years to come. But you can try to separate the movie from the situation. Some people can still look at it as like, wow, that's crazy that it happened then, but it's a great piece of art.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, so gotta throw some food in there. So McDonald's has unveiled their cookies and cream pie. Now, none of these pictures I've seen are anywhere near attractive or make me want to go try this thing, but sadly to say that I have tried it. No. It's supposed to be Oreo and all that. Yeah, it just didn't hit for me. But yeah, I just want to get you guys' opinion on. They should just stop at a certain point. Just keep it to apple. They messed up when they stopped frying the apple pie and they gave you a baked pie. But whatever. No one asked for this one. I'm almost 100% sure no one asked for this one, but they thought it was a good idea. Thoughts? I'll start with you, E. Thoughts on this? Does this make you want to go out and try a McDonald's?
No. Leave well enough alone. Stick to the basic apple pie. They used to have the 2-for-1. I don't know how much it costs now because I don't buy them. And you used to have to pop them in the microwave, and them hoes were still good. 8 to 10 minutes, 8 to 10 seconds. That's all it needed. And then you was back in there. But listen, right now, leave it. This is horrible. Don't do this. Don't do this.
All right, CB, 60 seconds or less. We know. We know you. CB would try almost damn near anything.
There was a time where mine and Kaleo's work softball team went to a local bar after the season and
Uh-oh. Is this internet in again?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. All right, let me put me back.
Got him.
Somebody screenshot that face and post it so it go viral. Oh, there he is. My bad, CB. I was just telling everybody to just hold on nice and...
I mean, I was just talking about the time we ate all the fried Oreos at Caddy's, and
oh my God, that's a different
I feel like that's what this was supposed to be, something like that. But yeah, you know me, I'll try something usually at least once, so we'll see.
All right, Kendall, thoughts?
That's a no for me. Straight up no, McDonald's. No. You go to McDonald's for X amount of things, and it's the fries, it's the apple pie, it's the high C orange. That's what you go to McDonald's for, and if you want to slip in a burger there, then you do. But the only other pie that I've tried at McDonald's other than the apple pie is the Alpea pie in Hawaii, and that one was pretty doggone good. But cookies and cream pie kick rocks. Nope.
All right. So we have come to the end of the Let's Wrap section. But before we get to, because we're about to interview Kendall B, this is what we've been waiting for. I want to drop something on you that I found this week on the internet. So everybody just have a good time with this.
I feel the rain. I feel the rain. It's raining all over me. I'm moist. I'm moist. Call and response, I said I'm moist. I'm moist. Good God, I'm moist. I'm moist. Yes, I am. Rain all over me. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. Yes, I am. I'm saturated. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm damp. I'm damp. I'm damp. I'm damp. Lord, I'm damp. I'm damp. Oh Lord, damp. I'm damp. I'm even.
Make it stop. Oh my God.
I'm crying real tears.
Me too.
Damn.
The collection plate was short that day, bro. Like there's no doubt about it.
That's real. It's real. Like
I've never seen that hymnal.
Ah, my God, that is real. That is damn real. That is real. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I thought I'd lay that on you fellas before we get going. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. So if you just joined us, our special guest tonight is our brother Kendall B from the Kendall B Show on AMP. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. I feel real honored by y'all inviting me here, so appreciate it a whole bunch.
Man, look. So we're gonna have some fun now. We got our questions all lined up, and just have some fun. So I'm gonna lead off with probably a very easy question. I saw that you had over 30 years within the radio business. Is that true? Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So my first question is, what led you to want to do radio, be on the radio?
It's kind of one of those. It's a storybook, when life stories are told. I'm very blessed and fortunate to have been able to do what I really want to do my entire life. My mom and dad recognized that I was a talker and liked to do different kinds of things involving television and radio when I was very young. So they purchased I don't know if everybody knows about Radio Shack. But yep. Radio Shack used to be where you got all your electronic stuff. There was no Best Buy, no Circuit City, none of that. You either got it from the catalog, you got it from Radio Shack. They bought me a red Realistic, that was the brand name, tape recorder. And I remember recording my voice on that tape recorder. I remember recording commercials off the television and then mimicking the commercials on this tape recorder. And that really set me off. And, I'm 5, 6, 7 years old at this time, doing that. And, I had a hi-fi actual stereo component with the radio, the turntable and the tape deck. Had my own microphone plugged into that. So I was doing my own mock shows really young. And then when I got to my teenage years, my best friend, Michael, he had a setup at his house. and we just started doing our own show, Ken and Mike show. We just recorded on tape. So that was, back in the day. That's what this would have been, essentially, just recording a show on tape and listening to it back and laughing at it. So I knew from jump that this is really what I wanted to do, but I kind of took a detour. I really wanted to get into sports broadcasting, and that's why I was very, very blessed and fortunate to be chosen to go to Syracuse University. All kinds of sport broadcasters, Bob Costas, Marv Alpert, this run down line, Mike Tirico, all of them are Syracuse guys. So I wanted to do that. And then I saw the line out the door at that radio station to try to be the next Mike Tirico or the next Bob Costas. And it was like, okay. Down the way was another radio station called Z89. And they were all about the students, all about getting on, learning about radio. And they also played music that I liked. I was like, okay, let me get into this. I've done this on my own in high school and before. Let me get there. Once I got there, I was hooked. I learned how to do radio professionally at a student-run radio station, and from there it just took off. So it's in my blood. I mean, it really is. For a long time, I'm just very fortunate to be in a position where I've done this for so long, and it still feels good to do.
Absolutely. CB, Rich.
Kendall, is there a story from like early on in your career that like resonates with you and was just like a moment for you that really just kind of drilled in that this is something that was for you at that point?
There was a summer internship that I did here in LA. Man, what's funny is that back in the day, and these are, back in the day DJs, I used to love listening to Rick Dees. He used to do the top 40 countdown all across the country, but he was based here in Los Angeles. We had other great DJs in LA too. We had Russ Parr, who was Bobby Jimmy.
He's still here.
Back in the day on K-Day. And yeah, Russ Parr's still on the air. So we had a lot of great DJs, but I thought I had a chance to intern with Rick Dees. And turns out that the internship at the station was closed off. And that summer I was broken. I'm like, I really wanted to do that internship. I found another internship at their competitor, Power 106. And the person who was doing that morning show was Jay Thomas. And his show I didn't really like so much because Jay was very abrasive. Jay was very shock jock, stern-esque or whatever. I was more into the positive radio. Kind of like, but it turns out, as it turns out, you find out different stories about different people throughout. And I'm not saying anything bad about Rick because I've only met him once. But the things about Jay, you hear him on the air, and he's like, Jay's a jerk. Jay's an ass. But I met him, and he was the nicest guy in the world. Jay Thomas, a lot of people might remember him. He was on Murphy Brown. He was on Cheers. He was an actor by trade, but he also a DJ. I learned so much from him. And when he brought me on the air one morning in Los Angeles to talk and to do a segment with him, and it was just like that burst of energy, even though I was doing my own show back in Syracuse from September to June, being that 1 10-minute segment with him, that like opened my eyes and said, I got to do this. I mean, I really got to focus and make sure this is what I want to do as a career. So my time with him just in that one summer, and that's before I even started getting a paycheck for being in radio, that really took me to a whole other level, seeing how it's done and how to really do it in a very professional manner, and how also that your on-air persona doesn't necessarily have to match your off-air persona. It helps, which is how I've leaned into it, because I mean, when you hear me on AMP or any other place and you see me here, this is me. There's a lot of different layers I'm able to get into more so on AMP than before. But it's just the enhanced version of me. So I'm happy about that experience and how it really shot me to another level.
Gotcha. E.
That's so dope.
Anything that might have turned you off from still pursuing the radio part, whether it was like people, the industry, or just kind of how the setup was, like, maybe something that you thought it was, but it really wasn't? Like, what was something that might have deterred you from like kind of just, continuing down the path?
Nothing really deterred me from the content part. I've always wanted to be the guy, the person behind the mic, playing the music, telling the stories, and just having fun with people. And my philosophy has always been, if I can make one person smile while I'm on the air, then I've done my job. Hopefully it's more people, but if I've done the one person, then I'm good. The things in the radio industry from back in the day, even till now, a lot of the corporate stuff, a lot of the rotational stuff for radio stations. And when I mean rotational stuff, anybody who's listened to commercial radio, there's music rotations. They go in, even nowadays, it's worse than it used to be for some. If you listen to a quote unquote contemporary station, what is called a CHR station, top 40 station, or a hip hop station, there's rotations. There's X amount of songs they play, and the hottest songs play every hour and 15 minutes, hour, 30 minutes. And imagine me being in that atmosphere, having to play those songs that often. You get sick of them. Now, most people, because radio is such a transient thing, at least that's what they preach in the business. Like, oh, people are just there for 20 minutes at a time, so you want to hear their favorite songs. Well, you got some people who want to listen for longer, and when you're beating them upside the head with the same song over and over again, it's like, oh, come on, let's do something else. So imagine me being there all the time for a 4-hour shift, 5-hour shift, and hearing the same song like 4 times within my show. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this song. I'm through. So there's that. There was the politics behind, who gets played and how often they get played. And if we play this artist enough, then maybe they'll come to our concert, or, and then the whole advertising thing, and then the whole ratings deal also, which is a necessary evil, but it's so imperfect, the way radio and television is measured. I mean, that's what we work with, but you're dealing with such a small percentage of the population that get ratings. Back then it was diaries, actual books, and now it's PPM. It's like little pagers where they hear different things. It's such a small number of people that the industry, the radio industry, and Nielsen are fighting all the time. It's like, well, I'm a station. This is a station that plays mostly, let's just say, hip hop music or urban music, but you're not super serving my audience. So people that might not listen are getting the meters, and that's why my station's way down here. Other stations are up here. So, REP Dimitri, that one station has roaches. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, there's a lot of corporate BS that goes on, and this happens with any job. And when you're tasked with being creative, which is what my task was, that's all I wanted to do: be creative, play the music, get in, get out, entertain, and go home. When you're dealing with all the other political stuff, that's what made it not so fun, and still makes it not as fun as it was a long time ago. It's even worse than it was then.
Gotcha. All right. So mine's a two-parter. Most memorable interview and your dream interview.
Oh man. Most memorable and dream interview. I think that's a two-part answer, I guess. Most memorable back-to-back interviews was my time at KS 107.5 in Denver. We had this concert called Summer Jam. Everybody, hip hop fan, Hot 97's had Summer Jam for years. Yep. But a lot of other hip hop radio stations across the country had Summer Jams. So we had one. So my first Summer Jam in Denver, I'm the new kid in Denver. I just moved from Greensboro. I'm fresh. I'm just doing the midday show. So I don't really have a lot of stroke yet. I'm just kind of there. So I'm there in a support capacity. But I've done interviews before in Greensboro. I mean, I've told the story about interviewing DMX. And hell, this is going to be a 3-part answer.
Go for it.
All right, hold on. Let me trace back to DMX. That's because I told the story on the show last week.
Philly, for sure.
Memorable. So DMX, this is in Greensboro. This is 4th of July weekend. So everybody's listening to the radio. getting ready for fireworks. Def Jam has their Survival of the Illest tour. It's DMX, it's Onyx, Redman, Keith Murray. They're all in town. Eric Sermon. So my boss had a thought. It's like, well, why don't we bring the artist in the studio to interview him before the show? Because the show is actually on the 4th of July that evening in Winston-Salem. So it's like, yeah, well, let's bring in Onyx to do the first part. Let's bring in DMX to do the second part. Let's bring in Def Squad to do the third part. So I was tasked with interviewing DMX. I guess this was 98. And so Onyx did their thing with my good friend Boogie D, who did the show before me. Onyx did their thing. They were good to go. Onyx polished. They were fine. So I come in, get in there early. I meet X. And the record exec, I think his name is Michael Kaiser. I think he's still in the business. And he's like, okay, cool. X, you good? And X is like, yeah, I'm cool. And so Mike leaves. It's me and X and some of X's crew up in there in the studio. Mike leaves and goes to McDonald's to pick up some stuff. Speaking of McDonald's, it's right down the street. So it's 2:00 Saturday afternoon. I asked X, okay, what do you want to do? Do you want to play some music? Do you want to play some of your songs? What do you want to talk about? X is just like, just give me a beat. I'm like, okay. So X wants to freestyle. 4th of July afternoon on the radio. And I'm like, all right. I introduce him. Like, you know him. He's here tonight. You love him. It's DMX. So X has the headphones on. Turn my headphones up. Like, turn his headphones up. All the kind of stuff. Put a beat on for X. X says every curse word you can think of on live radio. On the 4th of July, 2:00 in the afternoon, when people are having picnics, cookouts with their children, X is on the radio cussing up a storm. And most radio stations have a delay system where you can hit a button and it'll dump out. We didn't have that in Greensboro. We didn't have a delay. So I'm trying to turn the mic on and off, trying to catch every cuss word DMX is saying. I'm like, oh my God, my career is over. Because X is out here throwing all F-bombs, everything that he could. So he finishes up and I'm like, okay, DMX, play a song. Michael Kaiser calls the hotline in the line of McDonald's and yells at X, X, you're not supposed to cuss on the air. And X is like, I'm sorry, dog. I was just feeling it. I'm like, all right, cool. What can we do? So he goes outside. I believe he took a little smoke, took a little puff, came back. He was chill. I did a quick interview with him and he was out. He was done. At that point, I just knew it was like, okay, I'm going to get tossed out of here because I let DMX on the 4th of July. We're going to have FCC complaints, all this kind of stuff. But, and my boss actually, who put this together, he was out of town. He was on vacation, Brian. And Mary, who was the assistant program director, Mary Kay, my good friend, we just kind of looked at each other like, what do we do? I believe it was either Mary. No, actually, no, I think it was Boogie. Boogie was there. I don't think Mary was still there. Maybe, I forget. But one of them was like, what can we do? So anyway, nothing came out of it. There was no FCC complaints, thank God. And I kept my job there. So that was the whole extra. That's probably the most memorable, but I'll give you two more quick ones. Now back to Denver. Denver Summer Jam. I'm kind of the rookie on the team. And the morning show at the time, they got a little sauced because it was a party atmosphere. It was Fiddler's Green, 18,000 people seeing this great concert with all these great artists. And my boss then couldn't find the morning show at the time to interview the two headliners, Ice Cube and Jay-Z, headlined this show. This is summer of 2000, right? Summer of 2000. So one of the hosts was just out. I mean, drunk. The other one couldn't find them and didn't know what the third one is. So my boss said, "Hey, you're here. Can you handle interviewing Ice Cube and Jay-Z?" I'm like, "Yeah, bring them on." So I didn't have any notes prepared because I wasn't expecting to actually do the interviews. But Ice Cube came out, interviewed him, and I've had the privilege of interviewing Ice Cube at least a dozen times. He's always a good interview. So I did that, got through there, and then here comes Jay-Z. And I'm freaking out in my head because Jay-Z's like top of my list, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm freaking out. So I lay it out, you know, we connect, we talk for about 5-7 minutes, and that was it. It was at that time I think I gained a lot of respect from my peers and my boss, because I mean, he wouldn't have hired me if he didn't know that I would be decent enough to do this kind of thing. But I think the fact that I was able to just to jump in there and do this, and I'm the guy who was the newest one to do that gig, it was pretty amazing. And the last one I'll tell you is the Little John interview. So Little John, this is in the high level, super hype crunk days. Little John did another show in Denver, Fiddler's Green. I think we named it Crunktoberfest or something. And Little John came backstage. He was wilding out, something heavy. And I had earned that position now since I was the one that's like, Kendall, you do the interviews. You're here. We know you're not going to, go away. You're going to be at the time. You do the interviews. So Little John comes backstage and he's all hyped. And I start trying to ask him serious questions and he doesn't want to hear it. He's like, I'm not answering any questions until you take a drink. Now, your boy, in full disclosure, I'm not a drinker. I mean, I will drink a little bit, like on vacation. That's about me. But even back then, I just don't. I never liked the taste of it. That goes way back from when I was a kid and I sipped my father's beer and I was like, I spit it out. I remember that from when I was a kid. Like, I'm not going to touch the stuff. So I'm not a drinker. I've gotten better. A little quality, but just didn't do it. So Lil John wanted to like straight from the bottle, wanted to pour me like shots straight from the bottle. Like, I'm not doing this interview unless you take a shot out of the bottle. I'm like, dude, what am I supposed to do? Right? I'm sitting right here. It's like, and I didn't want to do that because I'm broadcasting on the air. I didn't want to get super tipsy immediately. So my friend, who I've worked with a bunch of years in Denver, Slim, is when he was drinking. Right now, he's not. Good for him. He stepped in and took the entire, like a big old shot for me. And the interview commenced. So thank goodness for Slim at that time. If it wasn't for him, we probably wouldn't have had that interview with Little John. So those are my stories.
Dream interview.
Yeah, absolutely. Dream interviews. I guess I would like to get more into the sports realm. Mm-hmm. Because it's, I'm not trying to say I've done everything because I haven't, but good God, from Jay-Z to Beyonce to Rihanna to all of them, I've interviewed all of them. I've interviewed LeBron. I wish I could have interviewed Kobe when he was here. I've interviewed Magic Johnson, my idol, one of my idols growing up, as a basketball fan. But I think as far as dream interviews go, it'd probably be for me either a succession of Lakers or Raiders, because those are my squads. So I've interviewed Magic. I'd love to interview Kareem, James Worthy, Byron Scott, D Fish, guys like that. Raiders, Howie Long, Marcus Allen, Bo Jackson. I would love to do that because I've had a good run, a good feel of interviewing actors, entertainers. I mean, heck, I even had a chance to interview President Obama, which was like,
Yeah, that's top tier. Okay, CBE.
Yeah. Sticking with the sports angle, Kendall, was there a specific event that you would have loved to have called, like a World Series or an NBA Finals or a Super Bowl or something like that? If that had materialized, was there one of those events, Wimbledon, whatever, that would have been, the pinnacle for you?
Super Bowl or NBA Finals would be the two. In the sports broadcasting world, those are really the highest level. I mean, World Series, sure, that's fine. Olympics, and I've gotten a chance to, I've gotten a chance to scratch that sports itch, thank goodness, in my life, which I'm very, again, happy. like I said, I'm very thankful, very blessed for the time I've had around and the things I've gotten a chance to do. But I've gotten a chance to broadcast from a couple of Olympics sponsorship things with Coca-Cola. And this was, when they were spending big money, it's like, okay, we want to send these radio stations to go here to do these kinds of things. So another one, right place, right time, in Greensboro, I was a kid when I had first gotten. I mean, this is 21, 22, and this was the '94 Olympics in Norway, Lillehammer. The management of the radio station didn't necessarily trust the person that they were going to send because of some other issues that I don't even want to get into. So they looked at me and said, well, you could do it. I'm like, okay. So they said, they said, pack a bag, you're going to Norway. So I packed a bag and they put me on a plane to Oslo, went to Lillehammer, Norway, and broadcasted from the '94 Winter Olympics, which was I think that was the Tanya Harding Olympics, but we were after that whole situation happened, so it's kind of crazy. So that was fun, but if I had a dream event to announce, it would be Super Bowl or NBA Finals, because those are the two sports I love the most. I get the most out of, and I think I would have done a halfway decent job had I stayed in that realm. But I've done sideline reporting for football for North Carolina A&T when I was in Greensboro. Did public address announcing for the Nuggets. Did some stuff for the Avalanche in Colorado and also for the Rapids. I was soccer team Colorado Rapids PA announcer for 9-10 years, I think it was. So yeah. But if I had the choice, NBA Finals, Super Bowl. Yeah.
Nice.
Super dope.
Yeah, if you just catching, like, I'm listening to everything that he's saying, and it's just subtly dropping, like, oh, I did this, I did that as well. But I also did, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, Kendall's up. At least he's the hustle man with the CDs. By the way, I do have, if you look at that one too. I know you asked for it, but this one's on sale as well. What you being the radio personality, what was it that you looked for in the team that you had with you on your show? Like, what was it that, that really was, because like the three of us, like I said, our connection is wild. 20 years knowing Kaleo. Funny part, I've never met CB in person. Nobody would have done that.
Right.
That's just what it is. But so that's why I'm wondering, what was it that you looked for in your crew that said it had to mesh with you, the Kendall B, in order for this show to really be something?
That's a good question. For me, it was never about me. And I say that, I'll circle back to something since you mentioned all the subtle flexing, which I don't mean to do, but I mean, it's just, again, that's my blessings, and I like to let them show. For instance, I will use probably the biggest example that hopefully some people watching know. For 16 years, I was a part of a 3-person team in Denver, Larry, Kendall, and Kathy. And you can tell by the way it was ranked that, I wasn't the person that was up front. But the guy that was up front had been there for a while, and he had people knew him in town. So it was essentially, I'm not gonna say it was his show per se, but I mean he was lead. But my expertise came in, and I think that they finally saw that once they put me and him and Kathy together, was for organization. To harness all of the energy that they both had and then slip in what I had to make it work. And I think, but it wasn't my choice to pick the teammates. I was thrown in there because both the other two leads had gotten fired. So I had done some morning radio in college. I did a little bit. I produced a morning show when I was in Greensboro before I did my own show. So I kind of had everything. Daydreamers as Kendall wrangled Larry and Kathy. And I mean, it's a true statement. It really was. I mean, but even with that particular wrangling, as he says, there still had to be that chemistry. And there's a lot of teams that get together that don't have chemistry. We just happened to click. Senses of humor clicked. I was the guy behind the Wizard of Oz. I was pressing the buttons, hitting the sound effects, hitting the right music when it was supposed to hit. And then I would have my own little subtle jabs. And I would kind of let them go and just go be way outrageous. I'd report the stories. They would comment on the stories. And I was the journalist in that particular case. Give you the facts, and then everything else kind of goes wild. So when it comes to putting together a team, I never had the privilege of actually putting together a team. But I think where I was put there to help make that team gel and be cohesive. And I'm thankful for the experience. We had our ups and downs and our fights and everything but we had an amazing run at that station in Denver. And if it wasn't for that, I mean, honestly, because there were times that I was kind of done with it. I was ready to go. He was the actual adult of that show. I mean, that was said. I was, I'm the one to make sure that everything was going the right way. But we had a good time. And when it comes down to putting together a trio of people, you just don't know what's going to work until you throw it out there. And you can pay all the consultants you want. You can send people to all of the training sessions and boot camps you want. If there's no chemistry when that mic turns on, it's not going to work. So there has to be some kind of way to reach out to everybody to say, okay, how are we going to do this? How is this going to work? And at a certain point, we used to meet all the time. We used to have meetings on, over the phone before the show, like the night before. But at a certain point, we stopped doing those meetings. We would just go in there and let's roll, because we knew we had that chemistry. We knew it was like, okay, when we turn the mic on, I've got you right here. Y'all have me over there. And we just went, and that's what happened. So, it was a fun time. But I didn't get a chance to pick. I just got in there and did it.
Nice. All right. I am looking at the clock. And I promise people I wouldn't keep them long tonight and keep them interested in what we have to say. So what we're going to do, I gave you some homework. And we give so as a prerequisite, let me tell everybody, we give all our guests homework, and we like to ask them their top three albums of all time, top 3 movies of all time. And it's always an interesting conversation piece because typically can't get everything in 3. But let's start with the movies. And then let's do with your album. So top 3 movies of all time.
That's tough. I mean, hella tough. But anybody who knows me and knows me personally really would probably say, yeah, that makes sense. Can I give you an honorable mention before I get my top 3?
Go for it.
I've got 2 honorable mentions that are both trilogies. It's the Ocean's trilogy, 11, 12, and 13. No shade on 8. 8 was fine. But Ocean's 11, 12, and 13, they just showed a marathon on TNT like 2 weeks ago. And I watched the whole damn thing. And I was like, it's on TNT. It's got commercials. I sat there and watched the whole damn thing. So I love those 3 movies in succession. And then the Bourne movies, the first 3 Bourne movies.
Yep.
Those are bang, bang, bang for me. But if you're going to talk about individual pieces of work, for me, number 1 is Airplane. Airplane is my movie, and I can recite lines from that movie. From the beginning to the jive talk to the nurse singing RESPECT to all that. Airplane and I guess these movies, at least the first 2, are in my top because those are like the first either really far away PG or R-rated movies that I saw as a child, and my eyes were like, "Whoa, wait a minute!" So Airplane is definitely top of my list. Anytime Airplane's on, I gotta watch it. Number 2 Blues Brothers.
Ooh.
Blues Brothers. That's another one of those I got to watch. The soundtrack, the jokes, just everything. And a lot of that stuff I didn't really understand as a child. But as I grew, it was like, okay, now that's even more funny. It's even more funny to me as a grown-up. So that movie resonates with me for a long time. So if the Blues Brothers on, my wife will tell you, like she'll sit down because I got her into it. Because she knew the Blues Brothers, but she really didn't know it. But she knows that the Blues Brothers on or Airplane. It's like, just leave it on. Here you go. The third one, I'd like to thank my wife, who we affectionately call Snarky Mac, for turning me on to. I was a grown-ass man when I discovered the wonderment of The Godfather. I had not seen The Godfather until I was in my third decade, if you will. And she looked at me, and I think we had been married for maybe a year or two, maybe a little bit longer. Actually, I think a little bit longer. And she said, "You've never seen The Godfather all the way through?" I'm like, "No." And she's like, "No, we're fixing that." So one night, I think it was a Friday night, we were at our house in Colorado, and it came on, and we watched it. And I knew that it was a big movie. I knew it was huge, but after seeing it for the first time, I'm like, okay, this is something. And then seeing it again and again and again, that movie exudes so many great lines, so many great acting performances. I mean, yeah, that's definitely slipped into the top 3 for me of all time.
Absolutely. Okay, let's do these albums.
Top 3 albums. This was tough. Michael and Prince are on there, but maybe not the Michael and Prince that you think. Michael Jackson, not Thriller, but Off the Wall. Off the Wall, all the way through. Forget about it.
There we go.
That's just
that's always the good debate. Thriller or Off the Wall. Okay, go ahead. Off
classic.
The Wall.
Prince, since we did Paisley Park last week, Sign of the Times.
Oh my God, yes.
Double album.
Yep.
So many bangers on there. That one's a non-skip all the way through. And since I told you Jay-Z is my Jay-Z's my guy, my favorite rapper. Blueprint from Jay-Z. That one hit me on such a level because that one came out right around 9/11. If not on 9/11.
9/11.
Yeah. And I remember that night and how quiet things were. And I remember going back to my apartment in Denver and putting that CD on repeat. Like that CD was on, it looped all night long. Just because we didn't know like what else was going to happen. Yep. But that album is just so good, and it takes me back to that time, but it still is such a classic album. So those are my top 3. I stand by that. That's me.
So that's funny that you said that. Because, me and Kendall could be friends in real life because, as if I don't have enough going on. There's another podcast that I do that's part of We Are Something Else. It's called Smoking Spiel. It's a movie and album review show. And the last episode we reviewed Blueprint, and all those tidbits. Yes, 9/11 just is forever associated with American history. No matter how much you try to deny it, it's part of American history. And then we're recording Smoking Spiel. I guess I'm about to drop it now. Recording Smoking Spiel this weekend, and Sign of the Times is the album that we're reviewing this weekend. So it's perfect. Came in with the damn. Look, this is supposed to be. But you know what? So speaking of this weekend, if you're in the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, we got to pay some bills here. DC Shy Pie, the official pizza of the We Are Something Else podcast. There's our code WRSE10. Black-owned Chicago deep dish pizza place. So let me give you some pictures right here. There's a steak and cheese. There's a salmon pesto, and I guess a sausage and pepperoni on the end. But our brother Grant, shout out to them. They got the drop the bomb bread put in the Northwest Georgetown, the Euro pizza. And we have this staple in DC called the Big Chair. So it's the fried chicken and mambo sauce pizza. Dedicated to that. But yeah, shout out to Grant. Use our code WRSE10 this week and save 10%. And now, Kendall, my brother that's right next to you, E. Rich. This is where I think you may feel a little different about him after this segment.
Uh-oh.
Yes, that last screenshot will always be a classic. That was the first Is It Just E that he pissed somebody off. Let me find your graphics, E. Boom. Boom. All right. Go ahead, E.
All right, so Kendall, again, appreciate you being on the show. So this is where the fellas like to say that I kind of make the show go left, if you will. Is it just E? Is I say things that people want to say, they probably just are scared to say. One of the couple of the biggest controversy statements that I've had is that lemon pepper wings are trash. Just lemon pepper wings are trash. They're never consistent. It's either too much lemon or too much pepper. It's never consistent. We weren't even eating lemon pepper wings in the 90s. It's not real, right? And then the other one that really kind of just, got everybody to be mad at me was when I said that Taco Bell was better than Chipotle. Listen, it is what it is. We had the story on here last week where the black guy is now in charge at Taco Bell, and he was the reason why the Mexican pizza came back. So everybody,
he's a saint.
That guy's a saint. We listen and we get it back. So anyway, this week, watching a lot of kind of old school shows and things that popped up, got this one in my head to think about. 90s sitcom couples. Now, this is kind of puppy love. This is also a little bit older. I mean, this was kind of like the era of TV where you watched everything. Everything was on. This is when, writing, and this kind of plays in a part. We have the writers on strike. We have the actors on strike. But this was when, good TV on a good day, you can watch these episodes. You have a different amount of, you got the Bundys, which you really can't do. You got Sinclair and Overton. Listen, I'll be the first one to say it. Topanga was like one of my first crushes on TV. And I can't help it. Like, that's what it was. I thought Gina was cool, but she had a big head, and I just didn't get over that. So, and I wasn't really digging, Kelly Kapowski because she didn't have no body. And I'm from the land where you got a body, you got a body. Topanga had a body at an early age. So, what exactly is it? Just E? What was your 90s sitcom couple or one that just stood out for you?
I think the one on the screen that got my attention was Sinclair and Overton, because they were so made for each other, and they were both kind of out there, and they understood each other. And when you were watching Living Single, leading up to everything, you were hoping it's like, okay, these two ships have to connect at some point. And Sinclair and Overton for me did it because it was like an innocence between them, but they were getting things done. Let's just put it that way. They were but even they were just kind of like very, very much so. I saw Dimitri put up Dwayne and Whitley. I mean, that's a big one too. But yeah, for me on the screen, just right there, when I saw Sinclair and Overton, I'm like, yep, that's the one for me.
All right, CB.
For me, it was Corey and Topanga, and I'm with my brother E. Rich. Topanga was one of the early crushes. Her and Amy Jo Johnson. We'll give her a shout out too.
The Pink Power Ranger. Pink Power. Okay.
Yep.
So me, I was a huge TGIF guy, the original TGIF lineup, and I noticed Urkel and Laura wasn't on there, but so I'm gonna go with what's on here, and I had to narrow it down between Martin and Gina or Dwayne and Whitley. Couple different reasons. Martin and Gina changed that. I'm gonna go off the basis of the show and how those they were two different couples, right? Martin and Gina, that show was complete, like was hip hop, right? That was modern day hip hop, modernized, the way they dressed, the way they acted. It was just dope. So that was a good one. But out of the two, I'm gonna go with because I was thinking about the wedding for Dwayne and Whitney, which locked me in. That wedding scene is forever.
Forever.
Forever one of the best scenes on TV. No one saw that one happening. Again, and Dwayne was hip hop too, because we talked about the Jordans on the show too. But damn, that Martin engagement scene with Brian McKnight was and Babyface sung at the wedding. That was dope too. You know what? I'm gonna go with Dwayne and Whitley, just because College Love. The build-up was they weren't always together on that show, but Martin and Gina were always together on the show. So they were already established couple. Dwayne and Whitley weren't always established because they went their separate ways for a couple different seasons that came back. And that proposal, that wedding was still one of the dopest scenes on TV.
By the way, there's a lot of Taco Bell over Chipotle in the chat right now. Just listen, y'all be on the lookout for the Taco Bell over Chipotle t-shirt coming out from the We Are Something Else podcast.
Yes, sir.
Philly called me Urkel. The chat is well. This is like the chat on AMP. It's just zooming. I'm definitely gonna miss some. Takeover Trina, I see you. Definitely gonna miss some. But I apologize if I miss any good comments. But y'all can chat amongst yourselves. Okay, now this is the part everybody's been waiting for, because I've also let y'all know that we are huge sneakerheads. And now it's the time to see these monarchs, as Real Estate Poppy said. Let's go. All right. Before we get to that, CB's gonna feature a shoe. We go around the room and ask if you had opportunity to get it, would you cop it or drop it? So that's kind of what we're playing right now. So CB, what's the cop or drop for this week?
So the copper drop this week are the Crazy Infinity shoes by Adidas, which are dropping on the 26th. They're going to be $160. And if you were paying attention to Adidas shoes in the 2000s, the early 2000s, these might look familiar because they draw from a lot of inspiration from that Crazy line from early on, and they might look like a pair of Kobe's that came out once upon a time. And the difference here is they got a lace shroud, so they're $160. Right. I mean, I actually think these are kind of dope, but they're not a must cop for $160. You know, I don't know if these are going to sell out or not, but not a must cop, but I will be keeping my eyes on them. If you guys had a chance, would you cop or drop?
All right, Kendall, if you had an opportunity, if you won the Mega Millions and you could buy these shoes, would you cop them or drop them?
That is the qualifier. If I won the Mega Millions, because your boy does not spend that much money on shoes. I'm sorry, I just don't. I mean, that one's kind of fresh. I dig, and you know, if I had my Anthony Anderson blackish wall of shoes, I probably would cop that. But yeah, that's the qualifier. If I had some extra added cash down the line, okay, I might cop it.
Drop. I didn't like the original version of these. You know, they're gonna tell you these aren't the codes. But I didn't like the original ones. I really don't like these.
I would need to see them in person, but right now, like, they're not a must cop, but interesting to see how they freak that Kobe into this shoe.
Right.
Okay. All right, now is the time everybody's been waiting for. This is the segment we call Shoe and Tell. So, Kendall, real quick, you are the guest. You have the opportunity to go first or last during this segment. You tell us, and we'll make it happen.
I'll go last.
You go last.
I'll go last.
All right. So, E, you're going to be in the block first. I'll go. I'll go. No, I'll go because I'm gonna keep this simple. Keep it simple. So me and CB were talking earlier, like what shoes are we gonna show? What makes sense? So since Kendall did radio, and I'm sure we're gonna talk a little hip hop, and Cali. So I did the connector. Everybody knows how big Vans are in Cali, but everybody also knows how Tribe Called Quest is huge in the hip hop community. So I have the Midnight Marauder. The screen is killing the green, so all that clear stuff is green. So the Midnight Marauder Tribe Called Quest Vans, and on the laces, probably can't see that because it's green. The laces have the lyrics, so I'm gonna try to get the lyrics to
that's
the Midnight
nice.
Marauders, and then so all that green. Then the tongue you won't be able to see either because the tongue has the tribe symbol. There it is, tribe symbol, but. Yeah, all that clear stuff is green. It's killing the shoe, but those are the midnight. Those are Midnight Marauders, right? CB, the other ones are Benita Apple Bars.
Right.
Go ahead, CB.
I was also keeping it with the LA theme. I've showed these before, but there's always a good reason to bring these back out. R.I.P. Nip. These are the Marathon Continues, Puma Suedes. They dropped a few years ago. Wear your shoes, but these are dope, and these are things that you can do as an everyday wear, and you can't go wrong with gray and gold. So,
okay, all right. My brother, Black Wall Street, Rich.
Well, y'all talking about LA and all that stuff. I'm talking about working from home and being comfortable working from the crib. CB, are these Cozy Boys certified?
Yes, sir.
We talked about they had the re-release of all the Ye's shoes and all that good stuff, and I was fortunate enough to win on the Yeezy slides twice. So got the black ones twice. But listen, man, I'm in the house with these. These don't go outside, as you can see. They clean, but these is comfortable. Got to stay cozy boy ready in the house, working from home.
Right. Kendall, spotlight on you.
You might make me change my pick midstream after seeing those. Unless I drop two.
Do what you gotta do. Do what you gotta do.
After seeing ease and being comfortable working from home, I'm looking down at what I got right here too. Here, fine. I'll just do them. So, since I do work from home, and my shoe game is not strong at all. I'm just telling you all that because when I started working from home and I said, okay, just need something comfortable to get out, I started going to Skechers, and Skechers are like so comfy to me when I go out. Okay, so if I'm out, I got this pair of Skechers. I need to get another one. But if I'm just here at home, which is most of the week, I'm about to show you the ugliest thing you're about to see ever. These are comped Crocs that I got when I worked in Denver because they're in Colorado, if I'm not mistaken. I think they have an office there or whatever. And they said, yeah, we want to send y'all some Crocs. All right, cool. They sent me the ugliest pair, but they're comfortable as hell. I'm still walking around in these ugly joints. Look at this. Look at how ugly these are, but they're comfy. Look at how ugly these things are. The color and everything, orange and green. What is that? But I'm still rocking them.
Those are look, Skechers are comfortable.
I mean, but these are Crocs, so the Crocs are very comfortable. So, but that's not the one I wanted to show initially. If I wanted to show off a fresh pair of kicks, it's the fresh pair of kicks that I haven't worn yet. And my mother-in-law is probably going to yell at me because I haven't worn them yet. She bought these for me a couple of years ago. And since I hadn't, I think this was right around lockdown. It was either right before or right after lockdown. And I've been rocking my Skechers, my black Skechers, all these years. Like, I'm gonna wear those out. To get these, I got to break them in to wear them, but they are fresh. If I'm gonna rock a sneaker right now, it's a K-Swiss, and these are crisp right here. These are crisp, and my wife turned me on to the K-Swiss. All right, so but you can see they haven't been worn yet. They're still in the box. I'm going to wear these before the summer ends because I want to wear them, and I am so sketched about wearing anything white because I don't want to get them messed up. That's a white T-shirt, that's white shorts, that's white anything.
Yep.
So when you're walking around in the white kicks, it's going to be a problem. So I want to keep these so fresh, so clean for as long as I can. That's why I haven't worn the darn things. But I will wear them before the end of summer. But these are the ones. If I'm going to wear a sneaker, these are ones. Because why? They have memory foam. Because I have flat feet, and I can't be walking around in just anything. So that's the deal.
So we can put you onto some stuff, Kendall, to keep the white shoes white.
Hey, you know what? And I'm totally down for it. So when I start wearing these, then let's get it going.
Didi said he's cool. He owns the same shoes. You got it, rep. You got it, man. All right. So before we get out of here, again, we want to thank you, Kendall, for spending an hour and a half of your life with us and just chatting it up, bro. It was amazing. Just thank you. That's look, I can't even thank you enough. Just want to say thank you.
Hey, it was fun. Anytime we have a chance to talk about life and things are going on, that's what I do. I've done it for a long time, and I'm really thankful for the platform. Thankful for you guys for inviting me on. Thankful that we've connected in the AMP streets, as we call it.
Absolutely.
You get to know a lot of people from different areas of the country, different backgrounds. I think the platform has been great for us all.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, keep the vibe going. What you guys have going on is a very special thing, special kinship, if I may call it that.
Mm-hmm.
So keep it pushing. And yeah, anytime. I always say this. People say, "Don't say anytime," because but seriously, if you guys, if anything else comes up, let me know. Pop in and participate.
Where can we find you on AMP? Let everybody know your schedule. Your social media.
Yeah. So on AMP, I'm at the Kendall B Show, and it's every weekday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock Pacific. So I'm up early on the West Coast. It's what it's what I've done for a long time, to do morning radio. I'm just, again, very fortunate to have a position where I do work from home and I can get some work things done while I'm being silly on AMP, playing with people in the chat, talking to y'all and just talking about all kinds of crazy things. So it's Monday through Friday, every single weekday morning. My social media, it's two-pronged, but I kind of share things on there. So it's at KendallB511 on Instagram, Twitter, Threads, and Facebook and TikTok, and also at the Kendall B Show on. I think I'm on all those platforms too, on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Threads as well. So that's where you can find me. Promoting my shows, putting up little tidbits and whatnot.
Yep.
So that's where I am.
Appreciate you.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Wait. I'm about I can hear my wife yelling, "Don't forget the YouTube channel." I can hear her yelling. I can hear even in my headphones, "Don't forget the YouTube." So I have two YouTube channels real quick. I've got one that is the Kendall B Show, which is kind of a mishmash of things. But then I also have one that I really want to get people, because I've gotten to a certain point on the Kendall B Show channel, but there's a regular Kendall B channel, which is a travel channel where I give out travel tips, hotel room tours, resort tours. We love to travel and take the camera with me and put them up. I've been slack at putting stuff up, and I know it. Just been real busy, so I've got to put some more new content there. So look for the Kendall B Show on YouTube and also just Kendall B on YouTube, the two different channels. subscribe to them both. I promise. I'm gonna get some new stuff up on both.
Let's do it. Okay, hold on 1 second. I see you, Didi. 2 minutes. That's all we need left. So I gotta. If I don't shout out my crew, and their schedules on AMP or YouTube, they're gonna be upset. So Sundays, 2 p.m. bar drinks, and all these are Eastern Standard Times too. Well, first of all, like and subscribe. If it's your first time visiting the show, you haven't liked and subscribed, make sure you do that. We appreciate everybody for watching because you could have been doing anything else, and you spent an hour and a half with us out of your life, so we don't take that for granted. Thank you so much. So Sundays, 2 p.m. bar drinks and entrees, Red Cup Sundays. Sundays at 7 p.m. Is Be Easy with his gospel rap session. Sundays 9 p.m. 8 p.m. following him is his wife, Takeover Trina with Sexy Sunday Vibes. Mondays 8 p.m. Music Mondays with Be Easy. Tuesdays 8 p.m. We Are Something Else presents Live from the Cheap Seats with CB and E Rich Sports Show, fastest sports hour, right? And it got music in it. Tuesdays 9 p.m. Positive Vibes Only with my man R Moneybags. Wednesdays 5 p.m. Over the Hump with Sean Xavier. Early that morning on all streaming platforms, the Hot Seat Podcast, the Sean Xavier's podcast. Wednesdays 9:30 p.m. We Are Something Else presents It's Not Me, It's the Music with E Rich, aka Black Wall Street. Thursdays 7:30, keeping it regular. My man, regular old guy. 9:30. Well, that's where you are right now. Live on YouTube, WRSC Podcast. We Are Something Else with CBE Rich and Kaleo. And then last Thursday every month. So next Thursday, we do all sneakers show. It's our we got the whole panel, the Soul Tales panel. It's us three joined by our Moneybags, Be Easy, regular old guy. And then tomorrow, Friday, live on AMP at noon. We Are Something Else presents The Abstract with Kaleo. And we appreciate everybody. Appreciate you, Kendall. Hold on to once the show ends. We just want to say thank you off air one more time. But we want to leave our guests, everybody that chimed in tonight, we want to leave you with one parting gift.
I feel the rain. I feel the rain. It's raining all over me. I'm moist. I'm moist. Call and response, I said I'm moist. I'm moist. Good God, I'm moist. I'm moist. Yes, I am. Rain all over me. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. I'm saturated. Yes, I am. I'm saturated. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. I'm damp. I'm damp. I'm damp. I'm damp. Lord, I'm damp. I'm damp. Oh, Lord, I'm damp. I'm even. All right.